Conservative Supreme Court justices may be poised to reject the Biden administration's student debt relief plan.
I have never paid such high utility bills for gas specifically before.
Local residents already surprised by high utility bills may be in for an even bigger shock. We'll tell you why.
And we have an inside look at how Southern Californians with a connection to Turkey are responding to the recent earthquakes.
From Dodge College of Film and Media Arts, this is Chapman News.
Good afternoon and welcome to this week's edition of Chapman News. I'm Gavin Nguyen.
And I'm Claire Weber. Today we begin with a high-profile case at the U.S. Supreme Court.
The justices are today hearing challenges to President Biden's student loan forgiveness plan, which would wipe out billions of dollars in student loan debt. Protesters have been rallying at the steps of the High Court this morning in support of the program, which would give millions of Americans up to $20,000 in debt relief. In one case before the court, 6 Republican-led states argue the Biden administration doesn't have the legal authority to forgive the debt. The administration maintains Congress gave the Secretary of Education, quote, expansive authority to alleviate hardship for student borrowers during a national emergency like the pandemic. But it was clear from today's arguments that the court's conservative majority is skeptical of the constitutionality of the program. Here is Chief Justice John Roberts commenting on the lack of congressional input.
Most casual observers would say if you're going to give up that much amount of money, if you're going to affect the obligations of that many Americans on a subject that's of great controversy, they would think that's something for Congress to act on.
It's expected it will be at least 3 months before the court issues its decision.
The 7.8 magnitude earthquake that devastated parts of Turkey and Syria has now killed over 50,000 people. That massive quake has been followed by a series of aftershocks in the region, with one just last night with a magnitude of 5.2.
Here in Southern California, some Turkish Americans are finding ways to help their home country. Chapman News reporter Peyton Bell joins us with more.
Thanks, Gavin and Claire. California Language Academy in Los Angeles teaches English to people of all ages. But the school also encourages students to give back to communities all around the world. I recently spent the afternoon with CLA volunteers as they packed boxes of donated items that will be sent to Turkey. Hassan Altantash is the president of California Language Academy in Los Angeles. He came to the United States from Turkey in 2000.
I have a lot of students from Turkey who have been affected from this, earthquake, and some of them, they lost their parents, some of them, they lost their houses. Some of them, they don't have anywhere else to go. And it's really sad for a human being. And that's why we decided to, start our campaign.
CLA volunteers, students, and teachers are coming together to pack and address boxes filled with items. Everything from blankets, jackets, and shoes to over-the-counter medications and children's toys. Borju is a student, and she says her home country will be impacted for years to come.
Maybe we are far away from our home, but I can say definitely feeling are the same, and people are people.
The volunteers are collaborating with the Turkish consulate and Turkish Airlines. Here's how their system works. Donations are dropped off at the CLA campuses in Los Angeles and San Diego, packed in boxes, addressed to donation centers in Turkey, written in both English and Turkish. The boxes are then double-checked for accuracy and then moved into a rented moving truck that's driven up daily from the San Diego campus and unloaded at LAX in the evening. Here at Los Angeles International Airport at the Turkish cargo loading zone, volunteers from the California Language Academy are preparing to ship boxes to Turkey tomorrow. If you're interested in giving back, you can go to the California Language Academy website, give them a call, or follow them on social media. They're pleased with the number of donations they've been able to collect, a total of 712 boxes. I'm Peyton Bell for Chapman News. Back to you.
Thanks, Peyton. It's now been 1 year since Russia began its invasion of Ukraine. During that time, Russian forces have continuously bombarded Ukraine with missile attacks, targeting its power grid and taking control of some of the most eastern regions of the country. We spoke to Chapman University Assistant Professor of Instruction and Peace Studies, Dr. Hilmi Ulash, about international support for Ukraine and its people.
Some of the wholesome support that came for Ukraine at the beginning is kind of declining to a certain extent, and now it's more strategic thinking and strategic support rather than humanitarian.
Several nations have shown their support for Ukraine by supplying weapons and financial aid. Here in the U.S., some Republicans in Congress say the U.S. is spending too much, but the Biden administration says it will continue its support.
In other news, the Orange County Register is reporting that the Southern California Gas Company, or SoCalGas, is asking the state for permission to raise its rates by 13% next year. This comes as many local residents have already been shocked by big increases in their monthly utility bills. The sudden jump is attributed to low gas storage levels here on the West Coast, pipeline maintenance, and recent colder temperatures. Tommy Walsh is a longtime resident of the city of Orange. He says he's never received a gas bill like his most recent.
I have never paid such high utility bills for gas specifically before. That said, I've spoken with other residents that got a initial shell shock from receiving the bills and have made changes to their lifestyle in order to alleviate the financial strain of the rising bills. On my end, I've already taken action before the rate increases.
SoCalGas maintains it is not making a profit from the higher rates. The company says it simply sources the gas and transfers the rising cost of doing that directly to customers. SoCalGas also says it is offering customers payment plan options. The company says, quote, "We know that many of our customers are feeling the impacts of higher prices, and we hear their concerns. More than ever, we urge customers to take advantage of conservation tips, programs, and financial assistance that may be available for eligible applicants to provide some relief." You can keep your costs down by reducing your usage of unnecessary gas appliances, doing your laundry with cold water, and reducing the temperature on your thermostat and water heater. Now, Huntington Beach City Council is making headlines for its decision to no longer fly the pride flag outside of City Hall.
Chapman News reporter Emma Charles has more live from Huntington Beach City Hall.
Hi, Claire and Gavin. I'm here in front of City Hall, which has been a center of controversy since the City Council voted to remove the pride flag earlier this month. In a 4-3 decision, the council will only fly government flags at City Hall. Huntington Beach City Council decided they will not fly the pride flag over the town this coming June. Only government flags will be able to fly over the city in the new ordinance. Huntington Beach residents showed up to the City Council meeting to make their voices heard.
If a flag can save one kid's life, one kid, isn't it worth it to fly it for 1 month?
So I hear a lot of the inclusivity and all that. And my grandchildren would say, "What about me? Where's my inclusivity?" No, I do not relate to the gay flag. I am offended by it.
But don't change the policy because it's obviously a thinly veiled attack on the rainbow flag. And that's not just mean, it goes against all the other flags, what they're supposed to represent, which is freedom.
I've heard, fly this flag because it's trendy. Fly this flag because it's inclusive, but don't you dare fly the Christian flag next to it. Fly this flag because kids will commit suicide if you don't fly this flag. What kids need is an ability to cope.
The OC LGBTQ Center says this decision could be a slippery slope.
Yes, they're taking away the pride flag, but what else comes next for LGBTQ people and people who live in Huntington Beach particularly? So it's kind of it's eye-opening in a sense, but also that we should continue advocating and being visible and voicing our support for the community.
The decision was met with widespread criticism, with California representatives voicing their opposition, with the district's representative, Katie Porter, showing the pride flag in her office, and State Senator Dave Min urging Huntington Beach to affirm making the citizens feel equal. Pat Burns of the council defended the decision, saying it will unite people by eliminating divisive titling. The decision has made national headlines, with many criticizing it for sending the wrong message to the LGBTQ+ community. As the attention grows, it is unclear if the City Council will change their vote at the next meeting here on March 7th. This is Emma Charles reporting live for Chapman News. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Emma. Now stay tuned as we're joined live by a Chapman University professor and their student.
We'll talk to them about a class assignment that ended up going viral.
I'm Luis Avila, and I'll have details on the aftermath of this weekend's record-setting storm here in SoCal. And it might be dry at the moment, but don't put those umbrellas away just yet. That and more coming up.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
Now, Claire, would you believe me if I told you this picture was taken in Malibu?
There's no way that's Malibu. I need to hear more on that. Luis Avila joins us with the details of this weekend's big storm and our weather forecast looking ahead.
Thank you, Claire and Gavin. Yeah, without that photo, no one would believe you. That's my pun for the day. Now, this past weekend storm can only be described as historic. It brought rain and record snow. A rare blizzard warning was issued for LA County, the first time since 1989. Heavy downpours caused widespread flash flooding and landslides. The severe weather also triggered power outages, road closures, and airport delays across the state.
We got delayed due to weather, and we circled LAX. I guess this is LAX, and then we went to Phoenix. Then we came back from Phoenix back to LAX, and we've been here ever since.
Now on the bright side, all this rain has significantly improved California's drought conditions. Taking a look at the California Drought Monitor, California 1 year ago today was mainly in the severe category, but as we take a look now, we are now in the moderate category, in the light orange. Now it'll take much more than one wet winter to get us in the clear, but we are seeing some improvement. Now let's jump into our local conditions here in orange. Temperatures, skies are fairly cloudy today with a high in 57. Taking a look at our national forecast, up in San Francisco, 52 degrees, expect some rain as well, 42 in Seattle. Now embedding temperatures in Las Vegas will be partly cloudy at 57, 48 in Denver. Moving on to the Midwest, 38 in Minneapolis, 43 in the windy city of Chicago. Down south, a warm 88 in Austin, 78 in Atlanta, and looks like Miami is getting a summer head start at 85 degrees, 61 in Washington, D.C., and 40 in the Big Apple. Now zooming into our Orange County forecast, temperatures mainly in the upper 50s. Along the coast, 57 in Newport Beach, 58 Laguna Beach, 56 in San Clemente. Further inland, Westminster at 58 as well as Irvine, and 56 in Mission Viejo. Now taking a look at our 5-day Fenestra forecast, you're welcome for the alliteration. Like I said, today expect some rain later today, 58 degrees, and that rain will continue into the early morning hours of tomorrow. Along with the rain, some wind will be accompanied by it at strong as 20 miles per hour. And by Thursday, expect the rain to get out of the area. Temperatures in the 60s, and looks like temperatures will be warming up heading into the weekend with 63 on Friday, 65 on Saturday. That's it for me in the weather department. Have a great week, everybody. Please stay dry. Back to you, Claire and Gavin.
Thanks, Luis. A super bloom of wildflowers in Southern California is expected in the coming weeks after the wet winter we've had so far. A super bloom is when all of the wildflowers in an area bloom suddenly all at the same time, making for a gorgeous view. According to the Irvine Ranch Conservancy, there are several conditions that need to be met for a super bloom to, well, bloom. A long period of dryness followed by lots and lots of rain helps the chances for wildflowers. If one does appear in the coming weeks, officials say the public should remember to enjoy, not destroy.
I would encourage everyone to stay on the trail, take pictures, don't take flowers. I know that it seems like there's millions of them around, so you think, well, what's just one? But that really adds up over time if everyone is taking flowers away.
Places like Bomber Canyon, Crystal Cove State Park, and more are expected to be great spots to see the wildflowers. And you're encouraged to check out letsgooutside.org for more resources.
Millions of people are at risk of losing their health care in the coming months. That's because for the first time in 3 years, states will soon begin checking whether participants are eligible for the program. Medicaid currently covers 84 million people across the country and gained 20 million people since the pandemic began. The federal government had prohibited states from kicking people off Medicaid during the pandemic. In local news, Laguna Beach has recently seen a string of deadly accidents on Coast Highway. A woman died earlier this month after being struck by multiple vehicles while walking on the highway. Her death happened a week after a similar fatal incident when another pedestrian's body was found in the road. I went down to Laguna Beach to learn more.
Coast Highway, known worldwide for its beautiful ocean views, has recently become a source of sorrow for residents of Laguna Beach.
It could be any one of us. It could be kids that we have crossing the street. It could be anybody. I mean, it's just an absolute tragedy, any loss of life.
In just a few short weeks, there have been 2 fatal car accidents on Coast Highway, leading to the deaths of 2 pedestrians.
We don't look to have tragedy, but people pull together and people have concerns and people are not afraid to express their concerns, and we hear that at council.
Laguna Beach residents are asking Caltrans, the state's Department of Transportation, for help preventing future accidents. The city's mayor says it is important that Caltrans is held accountable.
On the road, so it's run and operated by Caltrans, not by the city. We can't control or dictate any improvements there.
Caltrans already has 3 projects underway to improve safety specifically here in Laguna Beach.
By the time Caltrans is done with those 3 projects, the entire Laguna Beach area, from city limit to city limit, will have upgraded pavement, completed sidewalks, new ADA-compliant ramps, and improved intersection traffic signals.
But they also stress that accidents can happen out of their control.
It can't just be from the engineering side or the enforcement side. It also has to be from the user side. And the users of the roads have to use it safely and wisely.
Laguna Beach residents say accidents like these are not new to their community.
I live now right across the street from the Coast Highway, and we've had these type of accidents for decades.
Laguna Beach residents hope the completion of Caltrans' current projects will be enough to prevent future accidents on Coast Highway.
Now, most of us use social media every day, but have you ever wondered what it takes to be an influencer or go viral?
Matthew Prince, an adjunct professor here at Chapman, recently challenged his influencer marketing class who could reach 1 million views on TikTok first.
If he reached that goal first, the students would have to write an additional paper for the class. But if one of his students did it, there would be no final exam.
Well, in less than 48 hours, student Sylvie Bastardo's TikTok went viral. Take a look. Matt and Sylvie are joining us live today in studio. Thank you so much for being here. Matt, we're going to start with you. Can you tell us what you were trying to teach your students with this fun challenge that you gave them?
Sure. I mean, really, the crux of it was trying to showcase in the real world, there's a democratization of virality with individuals who don't have to be celebrities. So you can be a normal, everyday student and drive some really great social content, and you don't have to be a celebrity to do that.
And Sylvie, how quickly did you reach 1 million views, and what did it feel like to hit that goal so quickly?
It was crazy. It was about 48 hours, and it was just wild, like watching my phone blow up, and it was just so weird.
Yeah, that must have been crazy, keeping up with all the notifications. Yeah. Now that it's been a few weeks, how's the video doing?
It's great. It's at 4.8 million right now, and it's at 850,000 likes, so it's still getting some traction, which is exciting.
That's really exciting. Now, Matt, what other feedback have you gotten from other professors, students, or just other people on TikTok in general?
It's been great. I mean, really positive. I've heard from other professors at other universities of wanting to try that challenge themselves. We've heard from the New York Times for a potential story that can come out and just the modern approaches of teaching. So it's been really great to see the positive feedback.
Wow, the New York Times. Congratulations to you both. What an awesome way to start the semester. Matt and Sylvie, thank you guys so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
I'm sure we'll catch more of you both on TikTok, but stay tuned, everyone, because sports is coming up next.
I'll be seeing you in all of our favorite places with laughter and warm embraces all day through.
Elmo loves you. I love you too.
With free COVID-19 vaccines, sunnier days are ahead. Visit getvaccineanswers.org.
I'll be seeing you.
In some political news, the 2024 California U.S. Senate race is already a crowded field of contenders from the Democratic Party.
Juhi Doshi joins us live in studio to break down the recent updates.
Thanks, Gavin and Claire. After 3 decades in the Senate and over 50 years in public office, Senator Dianne Feinstein recently announced she will not run for re-election. This follows a growing number of reports with critics questioning her mental fitness for the job. With Feinstein bowing out, many are paying tribute to her long career.
She's a legend in California as the first woman senator.
A number of House Democrats have already thrown their hat into the race to replace Feinstein, including Representatives Adam Schiff and Katie Porter. In recent appearances, Schiff has highlighted his high-profile investigations of former President Donald Trump. He notably served as the lead House prosecutor in the 45th president's first impeachment trial. Schiff also served on the committee that investigated the January 6th insurrection at the U.S. Capitol.
I think what Californians are dealing with, like much of the rest of the country, is real profound economic challenges, profound, concern over the strength and health of our democracy and the health of our planet.
Katie Porter launched her campaign by stating that it's time for new leadership in the U.S. Senate. The Orange County Congresswoman has emphasized her record in standing up to big banks, big oil, and big pharma. The suburban minivan driving single mom is seen as a rising star in her party thanks to her questioning of corporate executives and use of whiteboards to explain complex policies during congressional hearings. Here's a short clip from her first campaign ad.
Especially in times like these, California needs a warrior in Washington.
Congresswoman Barbara Lee also announced her candidacy recently, noting that it is Black History Month. Lee announced her run in a campaign video where she highlighted her sole no vote against the war in Afghanistan.
I didn't quit when I refused to give the president completely unlimited war powers after September 11th, and in the face of countless death threats. I was the only no vote.
She also discussed personal facts such as her decision to get an abortion years ago and the fact that no Black women are currently represented in the Senate, so Lee hopes to change that. And that's the latest on the upcoming Senate race. I'm Juhi Doshi. Back to you at the desk.
There continues to be calls for the suspension of University of Alabama basketball star Brandon Miller. It was recently revealed that Miller delivered a gun to his former teammate Darius Miles in January. Miles had reportedly left the gun in Miller's car and asked Miller to bring it to him. Police say a friend of Miles then used the gun to shoot and kill a 23-year-old woman, Jamia Harris. Miller was at the shooting scene but was not been charged. The victim's mother says the university should suspend Miller for the rest of the season and he should be charged. To make matters worse, before a recent game, Miller's teammates patted down Miller, part of a pregame ritual which they've been doing all season. Alabama coach Nate Oates says that was inappropriate and will not happen again. Elsewhere in sports news, spring training has started and baseball fans like myself are super excited as we get one step closer to opening day.
I heard that there are also several new rule changes coming this spring. Kyle Carr has that and more on the Best Campus Sports Show.
Hello and welcome to the Best Campus Sports Show. I'm Kyle Carr and I'll be taking the mound here at the Sports Desk. Baseball fans around the country start to thaw out as spring training is underway. This year's spring training follows important developments in the offseason. Some major rule changes are being implemented. Larger bases, defensive position restrictions, and the biggest change of all, a pitching clock. It will be interesting to see how these changes play out over the next few weeks in spring training. Hard news out of Arizona as Dodgers manager Dave Roberts announced today that Gavin Lux has sustained a torn ACL in his right knee and is likely out for the season. However, there's a new high school champ here in Orange County. The final puck has dropped for the 15th anniversary season of the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League. What started with 2 teams in 2007 has grown to have Divisions 1, 2, and 3 for varsity and 2 conferences for junior varsity. Varsity Division 1 playoffs began last week with my hometown Tahoe Prep defeating J. Sarah Lions at Anaheim Ice. Tahoe would advance all the way to the finals to take on the first seed Fairmont at Great Park Ice and 5 Point Arena. 3 periods and a 10-minute overtime weren't enough to decide this back-and-forth game, so a shootout was needed to determine the winner. Fairmont's snipers scored both of their goals, and Aaron Sachs stood tall for Fairmont, giving them their first championship title in their program history. This is Fairmont's 2nd year having a Division I team. Capistrano United defeated Fairmont in the Division II finals. Corona Norco took gold in both Division III and the JV Lincoln Conference. The JV Harvard Conference came down to Carlsbad United and La Jolla Country Day, with Carlsbad coming out on top. Now, Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos denied but not deterred. The New York Post reported last week that Jeff Bezos has been barred from bidding for the Washington Commanders because current owner Dan Snyder holds a personal grudge against him. Snyder reportedly is angry about Washington Post coverage of his team ownership. Bezos owns the newspaper. However, Bezos has now hired Allen & Company, the same firm that brokered the recent sales of the Denver Broncos and Carolina Panthers. With a net worth of $100 billion, Bezos could be looking to make an offer Snyder and the NFL cannot refuse. A new sports complex is coming to Carson next month. The LA Galaxy will be opening most of Galaxy Park to the public throughout March. The new facility will include several regulation and smaller 5-on-5 soccer fields, 8 pickleball courts, 4 paddle courts, and 3 futsal courts. This is another big push forward by the LA Galaxy to build grassroots popularity for soccer in Southern California. The grand opening will take place in June to align with the 20th anniversary of the Parent Dignity Health Sports Park. However, residents can use the facilities next month. I know our executive producer Kinsley Rolfe will be signing us up for pickleball. And you just got served the hottest in sports on the Best Campus Sports Show. I'm Kyle Carr. Back to you, Claire.
Thanks, Kyle. It's Black History Month, and here at Chapman News, we wanted to celebrate by highlighting a Black-owned business here in Orange County. Chapman News reporter Amani Wright spoke with the owner of an Anaheim beauty supply store and salon that is focused on serving the Black community.
The Girl Cave LA Anaheim is one of the few Black-owned businesses here in Orange County. They're a salon and beauty supply, and they're a part of Orange County Black history.
The store opened its doors in 2020, and for franchise owner Anita Burris, it's important to serve the community.
It's a lot of work, but the community, seeing the women come in and ask questions about their hair, and we can answer their questions, is the most rewarding.
But getting to this point hasn't been easy for Burris. The challenges she has faced as a Black business owner include supply chain issues with international vendors.
The containers that the product comes in comes from all over, from different places, and it's just not happening right now.
Employee Sara Alvarez has seen the Girl Cave LA Anaheim rise above these challenges and also notices the impact it has on the community.
So the way I feel that has impacted Orange County is that it's a Black-owned store, and they find all the products here instead of driving all the way to LA, Inglewood, or Compton, Long Beach. It's actually out here in the Orange County.
The Girl Cave LA Anaheim is excited to continue to support the Black community in OC as they approach their 3rd year in business. This is Amani Wright reporting for Chapman News.
I'm Danielle Burke-North. After the break, I'll spill all the latest news from the entertainment world. Everything from the latest award winners to new movies, and even who will be sporting Calvin Klein this spring. Stay tuned.
At your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
There are also big changes in store for the Hilbert Art Museum here at Chapman University. The museum, which is open to the public and focuses on California art, is tripling in size. Chapman News reporter Alexandra Konyarts has more.
A radiation of cheers and smiles took over North Atchison Street, where festivities took place on February 15th to celebrate the expansion of the Hilbert Art Museum. Founder Mark Hilbert first got the idea for the museum 8 years ago. He says he wanted to create a space for artwork that is focused on storytelling.
Paintings tell stories. The paintings are uplifting, they're beautiful, and they have educational value as well. You go to an art museum, it's an immersive learning experience unlike anything else that you're going to ever do.
In 2019, the museum drew more than 30,000 visitors. Mary Platt, the museum director, is excited about the expansion.
I think this is not only will it tell you a lot about the history of art in California and our wonderful artists, but also it's just a great place to come and relax and enjoy. You know, take a break, come and take an art bath, I say.
The new 22,000 square foot space will have a courtyard, a cafe, and allow for a wider variety of art to be shown.
And in just over a year, the Hilbert Museum is ecstatic to open these doors right behind me to Orange County. Visitors will have the opportunity to immerse themselves in a world of art representing California. This is Alexandra Konyarts reporting for Chapman News.
The museum director says she hopes the expansion and renovation will encourage more students to visit the Hilbert Museum. Admission is free and anyone can reserve tickets online at the museum's website.
Some Apple Watch owners have encountered a surprise while skiing. The New York Times reports some Apple Watches have been dialing 911 because they mistake skiing for a crash emergency. The Apple Watch feature sends automated messages to 911, which the Times reports is overwhelming dispatchers. The Times says Apple is working on a fix. In other news, Oscar-winning producer Walter Mirisch has died at the age of 101. Mirisch produced West Side Story, Some Like It Hot, and several other classic movies during his career. Mirisch served as president of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences for 4 years in the 1970s. The Academy's current president called Mirisch a visionary and true industry leader.
Now, Gavin, have you been keeping up with all of the award shows lately?
No, there's just so many. But I know our Danielle Burke-North has the scoop.
Thanks, Gavin and Claire. Welcome to everyone to this week's segment of Now or Never, where I share all the current entertainment news now so you never miss out. First up, we are coming off some big award shows. Saturday was the 54th BET Awards hosted by the one and only Queen Latifah. Angela Bassett took home the Entertainer of the Year award, and the movie Black Panther: Wakanda Forever won Outstanding Motion Picture. Other highlights include Abbott Elementary winning for Outstanding Comedy, and tennis star Serena Williams being recognized the Jackie Robinson Sports Award. Of course, fans are still talking about Zendaya rocking her gorgeous vintage Versace gown. Stars also showed their glam on the red carpet at the 29th SAG Awards Sunday night. The film Everything Everywhere All at Once took home the most awards and even made history, with Michelle Yeoh being the first Asian woman to win Best Actress. Get it, Michelle. TV series also took home wins. Abbott Elementary with the Comedy Ensemble Award, and the show White Lotus with the Drama Ensemble Award. And speaking of Hollywood, some of your favorite stars might just be coming to Chapman this week. Dodge College is hosting a master class with La La Land director Damien Chazelle tonight at 7 p.m. in the Foligno Theater. The event will start with a Q&A with the Oscar-winning director, followed by a screening of his film Whiplash. And you know we do it big here at Dodge, so of course that's not all. Tomorrow, your favorite Elvis star, Austin Butler, is also coming to the Foligno Theater. There will be a Q&A at 6 p.m. and of course a screening of Elvis. And last but certainly not least, movie fans can look forward to new movies coming to the screen this weekend. The finale of the trilogy Creed 3 hits theaters Friday, starring actor Jonathan Majors and of course actor and director of the film, Michael B. Jordan. Michael also just announced his spring 2023 campaign with Calvin Klein, so lots of fun upcoming projects for the actor. And that's your entertainment news for this week of Now or Never. I'm Danielle Burke-North. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Danielle. Well, that's about it for us this week. Be sure to check out our YouTube page at chapmannews.tv and make sure to follow us at Chapman News. I'm Gavin DeWen.
And I'm Claire Weber. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next Tuesday with more Chapman News.